The most common reaction people have after watching 500 Days of Summer for the first time is usually a disdain for Summer. And honestly, that reaction makes a lot of sense. The whole movie is mostly told through Tom's perspective, so we experience the relationship the same way he does. But when people watch it again, they start noticing Tom's issues. The conversation flips from Summer is the villain to now Tom is the villain. Even Joseph Gordon-Levitt agrees with this sentiment.
I think that it's Tom's fault. I think that if you really pay attention, Tom's not listening to Summer. And I think if you ask what's the message of the movie, what I take away most is you have to listen.
While I do think Tom definitely has problems, I do think the conversation around the movie has kind of swung too far in the other direction, where now it seems like people see Summer as innocent and one who has done no wrong. Personally, I think the movie works so well because neither of them are innocent. Tom is toxic in the way he puts Summer on a pedestal and builds this fantasy version of her in his head, but Summer is toxic in her own way too. She keeps playing into Tom's feelings even though she knows she doesn't want the same kind of relationship he does. The movie isn't really about one good person and one bad person, it's about two people who just want completely different things but keep trying to force it anyways. And you can see the start pretty early on when they first start hanging out. Right away, they show how different they are when it comes to relationships. Tom believes in soulmates, true love, and all that stuff. Summer straight up says she doesn't even think love exists.
What happens if you fall in love? What?
Well, you don't believe that, do you?
It's love, it's not Santa Claus.
Well, what does that word even mean? I've been in relationships and I don't think I've ever seen it.
In real life, that alone probably should have been enough for Tom to back off a little, but instead, things go the opposite direction. When Tom's friend Mackenzie accidentally tells Summer that Tom likes her, she doesn't really shut it down. She kinda goes along with it. Because while Summer says she doesn't believe in love, her actions start sending Tom a completely different message. From his point of view, that kiss probably makes him think, okay, maybe she just hasn't met the right person yet. Now yeah, Tom absolutely shouldn't have tried to change her mind. That's one of the biggest issues that Tom has. He ignores what she literally tells him and instead forces on the version of her he wants her to be. But at the same time, Summer keeps encouraging that fantasy by continuing to act romantic with someone she knows has real feelings for her. It almost feels like Summer is testing her own beliefs through Tom, like she's curious whether her love could be real, and Tom just happens to be the person she experiments with. Meanwhile, Tom is treating their relationship like it's already some big love story. And that mix of mixed signals and wishful thinking basically sets the tone for everything that happens between them. She brings him into her life, shares really personal moments with him, and they basically act like a couple without ever actually saying they're a couple. And that kind of situation is confusing for anyone, especially someone like Tom who already wants something serious. As time goes on, the biggest issue between them is that they clearly never define what they are. Tom eventually asks the question that's honestly been hanging over their entire relationship.
What's going on here with us?
I don't know. Who cares? I'm happy. Aren't you happy?
Yeah.
Good.
Tom should have probably taken this as a sign to walk away, but he's too emotionally attached at this point. And Summer avoids giving him a real answer because that would mean actually dealing with how serious things have gotten for Tom. All this tension finally blows up during the bar fight scene. Tom gets jealous, emotional, and loudly claims they're a couple.
I just don't want to release.
Well, you're not the only one that gets a say in this. I do too. And I say we're a couple. God damn it.
It's messy and honestly kind of embarrassing for him, but it also shows how serious he thought the relationship was the whole time. What makes this situation way worse is what happens right after. He leaves, and for a second it feels like this is where things should have naturally ended. If Summer had just stayed gone, Tom probably would have been still heartbroken, but he might have started moving on sooner. Instead, she comes back, comforts him, and spends the night with him. And doing that just keeps Tom emotionally hooked. It makes him believe there's still something deeper between them. To me, Summer's biggest issue isn't that she doesn't believe in love, it's that she doesn't really stop to think about how her actions affect Tom emotionally. She focuses on what feels right to her in the moment without fully realizing how much Tom is invested in their relationship. And even after she ends things with Tom, and Tom ignores her email about hanging out, Summer still has no problem with dancing with him, cuddling with him, and even inviting him to a party after their coworker's wedding. I get that she's probably trying to stay friends with him, but at this point, she should be able to tell that acting like this is only making things harder for him, not easier. There's a clear lack of awareness on her part about where Tom is emotionally. By continuing to treat him in ways that feel romantic, she ends up blurring the lines between friendship and their past relationship, which only keeps Tom emotionally stuck instead of helping him move on. But Tom definitely has his own problems too. He never really sees Summer as a full person. He treats her more like the perfect idea he created in his head. He ignores her boundaries, romanticizes everything about her, and basically makes the relationship responsible for his happiness. And that's not very healthy either. The tragedy of this movie is that both of them are honest in different ways, but dishonest in others. Tom is very open about how much he loves her, but he's not honest with himself about the reality of the situation. Summer is honest about not wanting something serious, but she keeps doing things that make the relationship feel serious anyways. Tom knew exactly what he wanted for the beginning, Summer knew she couldn't give him that, but they both stayed in the relationship anyways. Tom because he hoped things would change, and Summer because she liked the connection and the comfort he gave her. And that's why I think trying to label one of them as the villain kind of misses the point of the movie. It's about how two people can care about each other and still be completely wrong for each other. And honestly, that's why this movie feels so real. Because most people have either been Tom, been Summer, or dated someone who reminded us of one of them.